just so tired. Do you go to lunch a lot afterwards?
No, I go home. We generally eat something really light, and I crash.
Yeah, just pass out.
Yeah, and then I start working. Late in the afternoon, I'll start working on the next Sunday's message or the devotional, Monday morning devotional, or something that I've got.
See, I've started to do that too. You know, growing up, Dad was always like, "Well, let's not work on Sunday. Let's not do this." But as we've gotten older, it's like, well, it's kind of like Sunday through Thursday is kind of the work week. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then we're off on Friday. Off on Friday. Usually I'm doing housework all day. Yeah. That sort of thing. Do you just work 6 days a week? How do you break it up?
No, I do it 7 days a week. I go 7 days a week.
7? You don't Sabbath?
Well, no, I don't guess. In a sense, I don't. You know, Sunday is a worshipful day for me, even though I have to preach. It's a Sabbath for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sorry, I shouldn't have been. I shouldn't have been so taken aback.
Well, no. When your kids are grown and they're out the house and they're gone, it's a little more. You can be a little bit more laid back.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. It's not laid back very much.
No, not with young children like you got. You'll get there one day.
I just see, I think about that sometimes. I really do. Just like the whole you're just live. I try to talk to my mother-in-law about like how she structures her time and everything. I just can't even. I'm too in the thick of the parenting right now.
Yeah.
I can't fathom what the. I
Well,
can't even put it into words.
Enjoy each age that you find yourself in, and the age of your children. Enjoy them being, 4 and 3 and
4, 3, and 2. Yeah, and
2. Enjoy that period of time.
I guess this. I like the thought of that, being able to build in rest through the week. That really makes sense to me. I don't know. I
spent my weekend trying to get into the library, the British Library.
Oh no, here we go.
Doing research, trying to run databases. I found some stuff, hit on some stuff, and so I spent my weekend doing a lot of that.
This is for your prospectus. They haven't rejected you yet?
No, they have not. I keep, my wife says, don't overthink it. Go on and send the thing in. But at the same time that I'm doing the prospectus, I am continuing to write on and study on and add to what I've got. Listen.
I'm worried about you submitting this thing. I feel like we're going to have an intervention if they turn you down. No.
Well, no, if they do, I'm going to raise sand is what I'm going to do. But it'll be all right.
Yeah, I could just think. Well, no, I'm not even gonna predict what's gonna happen. They're gonna accept it. Of course, it's gonna be wonderful.
I hope so.
People love your writing. It'll be great.
We'll see about that.
We should probably think some about the events of the day. I heard we had some weather this past week. Did you hear about this?
Yeah.
Little bit of
weather.
Where
were
came
you in
through.
the midst of all of it? You were eerily silent.
What did you want?
Were you down in the basement somewhere, just quiet?
It was like I was quarantined again. I was downstairs in the basement. We got our bike helmets, the bike helmets on myself, on the kid, and the whole time I was thinking, this is just overkill. I can't believe it. And then people's houses got leveled.
I'm here in a counseling session while all that's going on.
Really?
Yes. And I walk out of there, and I'm to go to physical therapy because I'm having some trouble with my back. And I call my wife, and she says, you have got to get here. The sirens are going off. I'm down in the basement with the dogs. And I could tell she was terrified because that siren is like, it sounds like, we're about to be bombed by Nazi Germany.
That's exactly what it sounds like.
And so I rushed onto the house as quickly as I could, and then that's when I started getting calls coming in, and we tried to assess up into the evening, who are our members that have been hit, and what do they need? What can we do? Where can we go? So that got to be the weekend right there.
Well, the good testimony from that is that, even that evening, most of the members that had any damage were already receiving support from other people.
Listen, we had some of our people already out working on some of our other people's homes and helping them. What a church. Well, I mean, Valleydale really is.
It's
What
amazing.
a church. I love this place. I love the people. They serve each other with gladness. They serve the Lord with gladness. And then we had a great crowd out on Saturday working through the neighborhoods.
Yeah. Were you able to go out with that one?
I could not.
Yeah, I couldn't either.
I could not
I'm
get
hoping
out.
there's going to be another one where we can go out.
Listen, I'm doing well to walk right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were hurting that bad.
Yeah. So anyway, I could not. I can pick a Bible up. But
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, that's the most important lift that you'll do. That's for sure. But Patrick had Pastor Patrick was out there with a group. I mean, there were a lot of people out there. You need a lot of people when you have these houses that are just leveled. Maybe we'll have to get Patrick on here to talk about that or something like that.
That would be good.
But I wore my 1BHAM shirt in honor of that because everybody was out there wearing their shirts. And then I guess while we're talking about it, one of the places that got damaged, we had an elementary school and a middle school get damaged.
We did. In fact, one of the students just was coming through telling me what had happened to his school. And our folks here, Miss Hannah and all of the folks down there in the preschool and the children with Miss Jamie and all, we are doing an e-learning center here. And children have been coming in and our folks have volunteered. And if you want to volunteer, just call up here, get Miss Hannah on the telephone. Or can they go to the website?
Yes.
They can go to the website.
If they go to valleydale.org/e-learning, it has the volunteer sign up as well.
valleydale.org/e-learning. And you've got the form that is there. We could use you. We've opened it up to the community for children to come in who cannot get to Oak Mountain Elementary and Middle School, and they can come. You can sign your children up to come here for e-learning, and you can volunteer to come and help with all these children.
This is a really big deal, just as us, if you taking your pickup truck out and hauling off all the damaged stuff, that's huge. And then also being able to help in the aftermath of the, I think I said, did you say it yesterday? Somebody said yesterday, it's like, if we're not, like, we really are all talk about like God being our refuge and our strength.
Right.
If we don't absolutely show up in the aftermath of something like this.
That's exactly right. I didn't say that. I don't know who did.
Well,
but it's good.
Well, it's still the truth. So thanks to Patrick for everything. Because he's really, I mean, obviously he's not doing all the work himself, but he's kind of organized. He's coordinating it really well. So thanks to him. So we had some weather. What else did I want to talk about? Well, we got to talk a little bit about just yesterday in general, because like we ordained Andres Pardo.
Yeah.
Which that was huge. I don't think a lot of people realize how much of an answer to prayer that is. Like for that congregation coming together.
In the last year, that congregation has just kind of exploded and come to life.
In a good way, yeah.
Yeah, in a good way. Our Hispanic, we have a service that goes on while we're in our second service. They are in a service up in the theater,
right,
in Spanish. And Andreas, last year I got under real conviction. Here he was. The church was just really growing. And he was preaching every week. And I went to him and I said, look, we're not paying you anything. And I don't think that's right. It doesn't teach a congregation the right thing.
Good point.
And you should be paid. And so we started the process there. We're going to ordain you.
Right.
And give you a salary, put you on a salary because he's bivocational. And we did that yesterday. We put him through the paces of ordination, the question, the answer.
Yeah, we'd done that a couple of weeks ago.
Talking, working through all of that. And then yesterday we ordained him. And we had their congregation in our second service, and I had an interpreter.
That was, and that was just a wonderful experience, having the interpreter. There was just an energy in the air, like people recognizing, oh, this is just beautiful, like our culture is coming together.
Yeah.
And you even said that in the message,
well,
that we're one race, we're a holy race.
That's what the passage, why don't we do that? Just go to the passage, First Peter chapter 2, and he comes down to where he says you're a chosen race. Okay, well, there you go. That's the church. In verse 9, 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9 says, you are a chosen race, royal priesthood, holy nation, people for God's own possession. Speaking to the church. So when you come to Christ, all of this stuff of African American, Anglo, Hispanic, Latino, all that drops. We're one race.
Right.
We are God's chosen race.
Well, and that's countercultural because we're in a society right now where it's like everything is dependent on like what you look like and like what your color is and this, and you have to. I don't even know how to
Division is
describe it.
always of the devil. Let me tell you, division is always of the. He constantly seeks to divide, in
Yes.
any way he possibly can do it.
And then here is this strong word of saying, if you're in Christ, you're part of this one chosen race,
Right.
the people of God. People
Right.
of God. Well, but it's a both and, right? Because that's even reflected in Revelation. Like, yes, we are one race, we're God's race, and yet every tribe, nation, and tongue is still representative. God is still glorified in that diversity that He created,
Sure,
right?
sure. Yeah, there is. God is wondrously creative.
Yes, He is.
Wondrously creative, and it's good that we all are different.
It really is.
There is something about the diversity, which is different than division. It's diverse. We're different. You look like a Dane.
Yeah, so I hope.
Do you have a?
Am I a good one or a great one?
Do you have a Scandinavian background?
I'm not really even sure. I think I
What
think
is Bullis?
I think that's British. I think that's from the UK or before it was called the UK.
Well, to see, they had Danes.
And I was like, and I think on my mom's side, because Kirkwood is like all Scots Irish.
Yes, I'm Scots Irish.
You're the same. Okay,
Yeah,
look,
yeah.
see, we are, Macwood and Kirkwood, we're brothers from long ago.
Brothers from a different mother.
I think that's how they say it.
Well,
But there is something.
they were famous for fighting each other.
The Scots
Yeah,
Irish were.
so bring your sword next Monday, and
Okay.
we'll just have it out.
We
right
should
here.
fight. People tell us we should fight more. I don't know. I don't know
Y'all
what
should
we
fight more on the show. Yeah, this is a Christian show. Y'all should fight more.
We'll have to figure out something
golly.
that we could debate. That's the problem. We agree on too many things. But what were we saying? Oh yeah. So yesterday it was like, I think that's the beauty. I'll tell you from my perspective, we come sort of out of the world and we come into sort of our gathering as the people of God, and there's just a beauty in saying, yes, we are together. We are not divided. The world is trying to divide us, but here we are worshiping in two languages together, celebrating what we have in common. Oh, that was just glorious. I loved it.
It was good. It was a good service.
And people were really impressed about how you preached through the interpreter and you kept it all up. But you've been doing that for years, right? Overseas, like they always have you preach through interpreters, that sort of thing.
You learn how to do it. You get a rhythm. If you've got a great interpreter, this guy yesterday was incredible.
He was incredible.
I like when I stomp for them to stomp.
Well,
when I move, he would. And I've had a few of those along the way. Now, listen, there are those that can interpret, and then there are those that have the gift.
Yes.
And this guy obviously had the gift.
Well, somebody told me he's a pastor. I didn't realize that.
I think so. It seems like I remember meeting him sometime back, a couple of years ago. But he was just incredible.
Well, everybody loved those moments because at one point you said point number tres, and you went Spanish, and then he was like,
and it threw him off.
He just said 3 in English. That was so fun.
That's good. I didn't want to throw my Spanish out.
Well, you stumped him with the jumbo shrimp.
I know. And he interprets that, and he comes to it. I said, I don't know how you're going to do this. Jumbo shrimp. I don't know how it will relate. We, Anglos understand, English-speaking people.
Yeah. Oh.
And then he comes to it, and he does all that Spanish, and he comes to jumbo shrimp. Oh, my word.
That was, I don't know
Too
how
much fun for a Monday morning.
I know. Let's sober up here. We got meetings and
serious.
such to
Let's
do.
act fundamentalist
Yes. Okay. Anyway, so Pastor, back to the Greek of what you were saying.
Oh, mate.
What you were saying. Hey, so I thought that one thing, and I loved how you went old school and preached your message sort of like an ordination message for Andres. And one of the things that you said was you talked about the role of a New Testament priest. This was fascinating to me.
Yeah.
How did you put that together? Because you had all the things that a New Testament priest does.
Well, there's the sacrifice, Romans 12, 1 and 2, I beseech ye therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God. Well, that's what we're to do. That's what a priest did. There is the second thing was
I think I wrote it down here.
let's see. I did the four things. Yeah, teach the word, sacrifice, and then I had 4 or 5 things under sacrifice. There are 4 or 5 sacrifices in the New Testament. One is self.
Right.
One is the financial.
Yeah, you stuck that in with the preaching on giving.
There are 5 things in the New Testament that Paul will call sacrifices, and one of those, out of Philippians chapter 4, happened to be giving, which is a sacrifice. Let's see. I have to go back.
Service,
serve one another as an act of sacrifice, which is pleasing to God. And
praise. The fruit of the lips.
Fruit of the lips, praise and
one,
thanksgiving.
Obviously.
That's right. That's in Hebrews 13 as well. And then the last one was
souls.
Yeah, that's right. Romans 15. And that is sharing the gospel. And in fact, that's pretty fascinating, just the way Paul says that.
Yeah,
it gives you an idea of how he talks about these sacrifices in the New Testament. Romans chapter 15, verse 12, to be a minister of Christ Jesus to the Gentiles, ministering as a priest, the gospel of God. So you see, at all times. So that my offering of the Gentiles may become acceptable, sanctified by the Holy Spirit. So that they become this acceptable. What does he mean by that? Well, they always talk about, is my sacrifice acceptable? So he says, as a priest, I minister the gospel to these Gentiles. So as a priest, I'm sharing the gospel with them.
Well, and that was a really big idea in the Old Testament, was whether your sacrifice was acceptable unto the Lord. And that's something that I feel like I come back to a lot, even just trying to exhort the congregation. Like, when you sing, because of Christ, your sacrifice is acceptable.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about whether your voice is good enough.
That's right. Well, that's what he's saying in Hebrews 13. The fruit of your lips, the thanksgiving, the praise.
So you went through the new, that was like you could preach a whole series about this, because this was just a very quick survey of the different ways.
You really could take those 4 things and look at, or those 5 sacrifices there. So it was the ministering the word, sacrifice, the libation. I said that, and the interpreter didn't say anything, so I went back to drink offering.
Yes.
Because that's what it is, the libation. They would pour out, when they would sacrifice, they would also pour out wine on the altar as a picture that I'm pouring myself out before God.
Well, and Paul says that multiple times. He says that at the end of 2 Timothy, I'm already poured out as a drink offering.
That's exactly right. And it's said in Isaiah 53 of the suffering servant that he poured himself out to death.
Right, that's the one you used yesterday. Yes, Isaiah 53.
And I couldn't remember. Did I use that? I'm glad I did.
Yes. In the first service, you definitely did.
Well, that's what it was referring to there, is the pouring of himself out to death. Well, that's the concept of a New Testament priest. And then, of course, prayer. Offering up of prayer.
So, and just real quick before we close up, talk about like how the incense and the prayer, because that was the symbol of the prayers for the Old Testament priests.
That's in Revelation chapter 8, which is interesting, where this angel comes and he stands before the altar, and he has this golden censer, and all of this incense was given to him so that he could add it to the prayers of the saints. So the picture is that when you pray, it goes to the altar, and that goes up as sweet-smelling incense before the Lord, your prayers. That was the picture of what the incense altar was before. The incense altar stood in a unique place in the holy place. It stood right before the veil, and of course behind the veil was the Holy of Holies. But the incense altar was there, and they would burn incense, and all of that smoke would just kind of waft up, And it was a picture of the prayers of the people going up before God. And that it was a sweet-smelling aroma before God. Our prayers are pleasing to God when we pray.
that still just amazes me, because I think about all the times just broken sentences, or like it says in Romans 8, just sometimes just groaning, not even
Groanings.
knowing what to say.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful that those things are acceptable and pleasing to God.
Well, I think of it in light of my Courtney's youngest child now.
Cannon.
Yeah, who will be the youngest child for just a few weeks more,
I know,
and then
Dallas
there'll be
is
another
coming.
one. But he has gotten now where he will run into the house and holler, "Dog!" And he'll run over to me, and he'll come, and he'll just kind of nuzzle up to me. That, to me, is the most pleasing moment of a day when that happens. Now, that's the way I see and feel that God, just exponentially greater, experiences or feels about our coming to Him in prayer is like that.
That's a beautiful image.
Yeah, it is. You love it. They don't do that often. They won't do that for long. They'll do that for a little while, but he'll be loping into the house. Hey, kind of at some point. But through those years when they're little like that and they run like you're the greatest thing in the world, I sense that's the way God is just pleased and satisfied when we come to Him in prayer.
That's
And
good.
then we get too big for our own britches.
I know. Lord help us. Well, you're closing this the same way you opened it by reminding me that I need to just enjoy the time with my kids while they're real little.
Yep.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Sorry that we weren't live today, but this is we're going to put it on all the platforms. YouTube is the place where it's the easiest way to find all of our video content. So if you haven't checked us out on YouTube, make sure you do that. All the pastors' messages, the recaps, music videos, all this. Is the music video going out tomorrow, by the way? You guys check back out on YouTube. We got a sort of a Holy Week song we're putting out. I'm excited about that.
And when you're through watching us on YouTube channel, you can catch
There's all kinds of stuff out there.
You can catch an Andy Griffith.
That's right. There's
episode.
some great Andy Griffith. Did I send you that one of Barney singing "Welcoming the Spring"? Yes. I'm sorry. Someone's off key.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll move around and find out who it is.
We'll find that one. All right. Love you guys. Stay safe out there. We'll see you. We'll see you for Good Friday and Wednesday. And just come every day to the church building.
Yeah.
If you don't know what
Why
to
not?
do, we'll just put you to work with the virtual learning kids.
There you go.
All right? And we'll be here, I guess.
Yes.
Are you going to be here?
I'm here, brother.
Okay.
I'm as here as I can get.